Hello everybody. It's been quite a while since we last spoke. So my name's Kelsey. It's been quite a few weeks since we last spoke. I had a goal of uploading a video every Sunday. We both know that that has gone to shit. But I'm hoping to, you know what they say about trees? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago and the next best time is right now. Sadly, I didn't manage to maintain my goal throughout the turmoil that was the election week, but now I will be continuing as with my attempt to maintain a regular video schedule for no one besides myself. We'll see how successful I am at that. So, it is the last Sunday of November, and this Thursday, is the Thanksgiving holiday, which means that Christmas is essentially tomorrow, which means that I need to step on the gas to get this shit done. I have two major projects that I'm working on for that I need to get done before Christmas. However, some of the other minor Christmas gifts I've made have significantly hindered my ability to crochet comfortably. I may have mentioned this in my December Christmas plans video, but I have been making a bunch of trivets for my family. They're all in this little bag. This is a new bag that Della Q released. One thing about me is that I love Della Q project bags. They're my favorite project bags in the world. I love that they're mesh so I can see what's inside them. And this is a new type that they released that's in a different color that I haven't seen from them before. I'm not positive how I feel about it, but about like the actual like shape and like pockets and stuff, but nevertheless I digress. But I have been crocheting a bunch of trivets out of Lily's Sugar and Cream, or Lily's Cotton and Cream as I call it, and now my shoulder feels like I've been pitching in the major leagues for about a decade. My shoulder hurts so bad, and it has hurt so bad over the course of the last couple days, so much to the fact that like I had to pull my duvet cover like back off the bed because it's too heavy for me to sleep under it, and as I like move and roll in the night, it gets like, my arm gets like stuck under it, and I have a lot of trouble like lifting when I'm on my back, and it just results in an incredible amount of pain and it getting more injured during the course of the night. So now I am sleeping under a different blanket on my bed for the time being until my shoulder recovers. This is not something that has never happened before. However, it is kind of hilarious that I made 5 trivets and now I am basically like on injury care to try and mitigate further damage. So that's a little hilarious. So I've got all the trivets for my extended family done, but now I've got to wait I'm gonna wait until next weekend to work on any more, and then I'm going to take it very slowly from there. Basically, I'll probably make the Christmas one either Thursday or next weekend, just because I would like for my mom to be able to put the Christmas themed one out before Christmas. But that is the situation there. Now, for the other projects I am working on, this one is for me. This is my selfish project. I am making the Christmas tree popover by Manatee Squares. Basically, it's just a granny stitch like popover that like basically it's just 2 panels in the front and the back, and then like a turtleneck, and it's basically just a dickie. And it is Christmas tree. I'm sure there's a picture of it on the screen. But what I've decided to do is that I thought it would be fun to put like little pony beads in the stitches as like little ornaments. So you can kind of see how it's turning out now. I think it's pretty cute. Oh, I was showing you the bad side. It's turning out pretty cute. And then at the end, what I'm planning on doing, I have this horrible plasticky yarn. This is like the disc scrub yarn. But what I think I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna make a chain out of these, and then like zigzag it across the Christmas tree, and it'll just be cute. And it's an ugly Christmas sweater sort type vibe, and it's actually working up fairly quickly, which makes sense because it's a granny stitch thing. But it's been so long since I've worked on anything that's like not causing me immense pain while I'm doing it, or it's not like a DK yarn with a 3.5 millimeter hook. It's so whenever that, like, I move from like one thing that's like a little bit smaller to things, I'm like, wow, crochet is so quick. But that's the selfish project. The non-selfish project that I need to get done is actually the last Christmas present I basically have all my Christmas presents wrapped at this point, which is a little absurd, to be quite frank. But this is the last thing that I've actively got on my plate, and it is a blanket for my mom. I actually haven't unrolled this in a really long time. It actually is turning out really cute. But basically, it's a throw blanket made out of woolly is thick and quick. That's for my mother. I think I'm actually, like, the orientation is going to be this way. Like, it's going to be a vertical stripe. Basically what it is that it's a super bulky yarn, 15 millimeter hook, and I'm just working it back and forth in half double crochets. And then I'm doing 5 rows of the variegated color and then 2 rows of this mustard yellow color. The deadlines on these, obviously this needs to be finished. My family opens presents on the 24th, so this needs to be done by the 24th. But because of the way I am, I would like to get this done before that deadline. I think I want to try and see if I can get the front panel of this done today, just because I've started this and ended up pulling it back because I wasn't sure about how many beads and like the orientation of the beads, and then also I didn't have a ton of beads of the same color for a second there, so now everything's sort of sorted out. But I want to see if I can get like this front panel all the way done, just to have that off, like, because right now everything is at such an early stage in the progress that I can't estimate like the timeline in which I think it is feasible for me to finish it. So right now I'm kind of like in a bit of anxiety phase, so I just need to push through and like get this off the I need to get further into the progress of this so that I'm not concerned about whether or not I have the ability to finish it. Alright, well, just here's a brief update for tonight. This is where we're at. I finished with like the tree detail, and then now it's just a matter of going around and around with the reds and the white until it's large enough. Then I'll work on the neckline and do the back. But for now, this is where we are. I'm gonna leave it for tonight because I'm sleepy. One thing I need to get out of the habit of is like refilming clips over and over again, because I feel like when I do that, I just end up forgetting what I've actually said in each clip to another. So I'm gonna try and keep this brief, but I doubt that'll work out for me. So here's the situation, you guys. My arm has been like very fucked up, so I've been trying to avoid things that are like intense, and I don't know what makes something intense. It eludes me, but I can tell you that while I work on this blanket, I don't have serious arm pain, so I feel pretty comfortable continuing this process and putting that on the back burner until this is done. My shoulder, yesterday I had pretty intense shoulder pain all day, and I was really worried that I was taking way too much ibuprofen. But the story with this right now is that currently I'm doing this with the intention of having having the stripes be vertical. It's not really reading, like the colors aren't really reading that well on camera. I actually really enjoy this yarn. It's the Coney Island color of the Woolies Thick and Quick. And you can't really see like the rich color, but what it reminds me of, you know those corn, like those dried corn cobs where all the kernels are like different colors? That's what it reminds me of. So I'm liking the look of it, and it's going to be really pretty. I'm so outraged. I'm legitimately like a little bit fuming. So I'm working on the blanket, obviously. I'm going through yada yada yada. I have this much of a skein left, and then all of a sudden, I have the end. And what these motherfuckers did is that my skein like the yarn ended, and then they just put more yarn around the part that was already cut. Like, what the fuck? Hi. I'm about halfway through the blanket at this point. And I kind of want to keep going, but I'm stopping because my fingers are starting to like feel a little bit stiff. So in the interest of not developing arthritis at the ripe old age of 25, I'm electing that I will take a break and move on from that tonight. But that does bode well for me, because I kind of think I might be able to finish this blanket by the end of the week. And if I can, that very rapidly changes how I was estimating my schedule to work out. Hello. I want you to guess how many times I've introed this specific clip. Spoiler alert, more than 5. I have decided that in the interest of having things to talk about other than crochet, that I'm going to go back to my roots and also combine my crochet vlogs with reading vlogs when I'm reading, because historically I have done a lot of book stuff on this channel. The issue is that with books, I only I read a lot during very I'll read a lot for a month, and then like a month and a half will go by and I just don't feel like reading at all. I'm not really able to consistently put out content about reading because I don't like to force myself to read, but also like I have cycles and hyperfixations. However, I do tend to crochet all the time. Like I'll take some breaks from crochet, but not for like months at a time. So because I like to read and because I like to yap, we're going to be talking about the books I'm reading as well in this video. So it's Thanksgiving, by the way. Thank you for being here. Just to give you sort of a timeline of where we're at. But 2 of the ongoing mystery series I read books from released a Christmas book this year. And additionally, I also ended up with a copy of another mystery book that also takes place around Christmas time, which all culminates in me having to read 4 books in order to be able to finish these books by Christmas. So the books I'm going to be talking about, one of these books I'm probably not going to read until we're in the part 2 section of this video, because even though I'm probably not going to finish all my projects by Sunday this week, I'm definitely going to upload the vlog, so there'll be a part 2 in like 2 weeks for this. I've planned my schedule for how I'm releasing videos. So one of them is probably going to be talked about more in that video, so I'll try and get into that a little bit more then. But the 2 books that came out that are part of a series is one, I'm a big fan of the Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, and then the follow-up book, Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. I'm a big fan of that series. And then for Christmas this year, Benjamin Stevenson released Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret. And basically what these mysteries do is that the author of these books in the book's universe, the main character is writing the book. It's from his perspective, and he is the one who's writing the book. Not this guy, it's Ernest from in the book. So he previously wrote like guides on how to write mysteries. So he's very like genre knowledgeable. So there's a lot of like meta commentary about the nature of like a whodunit mystery and things in these sort of books. And like he talks a lot about like a fair play mystery, and will like reference like, oh, you know, it's the first 30 pages of the book, so you know every character that appears in this first 30 pages has the potential of being a suspect. And then any character introduced after that point is not going to be your killer. So it's very interesting how he like will do like a wink wink nudge nudge, and also like guide you towards writing, making your own conclusions. But this book specifically, it's a novella. It has 24 chapters, so it's technically like an advent. You could read it one day in December leading up to Christmas and get to the end. Obviously, I didn't do that because I already finished this. I listened to the audiobook on Spotify, and I really, really liked it. This is a 5-star novella for me. I really enjoyed Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. That was a 5-star book. And I also enjoyed Everyone on This Train as a Suspect, but it had to rank a little bit lower because there was some interpersonal drama in the second book that I just didn't find compelling. And honestly, I found it difficult to slog through, because there's like a whole proposal narrative and him like having issues with his girlfriend, and that was not the reason why I read the book. Like, I read the book for the mystery, and then like the weird, like, it was fine. I understood why I was in there. It just wasn't something I particularly enjoyed reading about, and I wasn't there for it. But this book, because it's a novella, kind of just trimmed the fat a little bit. So it's a very straightforward narrative. It's very interesting. And I really enjoyed, like, I love a mystery book with a magician. I'm just gonna say it. I love a book where there's a magician. I just think it's fantastic. So this was 5 stars. Highly recommend it. If you've read the first 2. I wouldn't recommend it if you haven't read those first 2. But there's that. And then the other book that has come out that is a Christmas book is the 4th book in the Katie Watson's 3 Dahlia series. And it's A Lively Midwinter Murder. Funny story about this is that I am the only fan in the United States of America that has read this series, I feel like. I love this series, but it's annoying because it comes out earlier in the UK than it comes out in the United States. And so it comes out in July, like the books come out in July in the UK. And then in the United States, they come out in September. So I had read the first 2, like, as they were coming out. Like, I read them I read the 3 Dahlias, and then I waited a second, and then A Very Lively Murder came out, and I read that one, and then I got stuck waiting a whole year for 7 Lively Suspects. And by the time that came out, I didn't like immediately jump in, because I sometimes let the books in certain series sit on the shelves like a good wine, and I pop it out for special occasions. 7 Lively Suspects comes out. That's the 3rd book in the series. So I put it on my shelf, and then I'm planning on sort of saving it for a special occasion. But I was looking at Goodreads releases, and I noticed that this thing was coming out in November. And I was like, what? And then I realized, oh no, it's a Christmas book, which means not only do I have to read this before the end of December, I also have to read the 3rd book. So I read the 3rd book. That's what I did earlier this week. It was solid. It's definitely, I think it's probably my least favorite in the series, but that doesn't mean I disliked it. My favorite book in the series was actually the second one. The 1st and the 3rd books were both 3 stars for me. But the second book, I don't know, it just scratched an itch. But I definitely enjoy all of them across the board. So I'm very much looking forward to popping into this. And then the final book is the one I'm currently reading. This book is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. I was very trepidatious about this book. I heard about it when it was announced, and I sort of added it to like my releases for this year as like something I wanted to keep an eye on. But I thought, based on the title and the cover, there was the potential for this to have some extreme cringe, in a way that I just knew I wouldn't enjoy. I don't enjoy books that are called rom-coms typically. Typically I find them tedious, and I'm not a fan of hijinks in a romance novel, is what I'll say. Is like, I don't enjoy hijinks where like people just keep lying and getting themselves into worse and worse situations. And I feel like that's what a rom-com is like people just lying and making things worse than themselves. And honestly, I find that whole sort of situation very stressful. And so far it hasn't been there, and the mystery has been like a large component, and it's been very fun to read. I don't know why I was holding the book like that. Basically what happens is that these two are authors. She's a cozy mystery author, he's a thriller author, and they both get invited to this country estate. I don't know where, is it in England? Yes, it's to a estate in England, and it turns out it's this very big time mystery author that has invited them there. During the course of their stay, the mystery author goes missing, and other things occur that hint at foul play. And I'm enjoying it a lot so far. I like the romance element happening in the background. I'm compelled by the mystery. And just overall, one thing that I was delighted to find out is that the primary trope for this like romance is sort of like, it's a he fell first situation, which I love. I love when a man be pining. So I am really liking this. I have taken a break from the audiobook though, because I don't want it to be over. So like, I don't want to finish it before we're actually in like Christmas season. Like, I don't want to finish it while we're still like pre-Thanksgiving era, because I honestly thought these books would take me longer to like get through, but I have been hungry for a good mystery apparently, and have just been like rocketing through them at huge pace. So I'm slowing down a little bit and forcing myself to sort of step back. Good evening, everybody. It is Saturday. I didn't film anything yesterday because I had work and I was busy, and then after work I went to the Utah Grizzlies hockey game with my mom and brother. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed going to see hockey live, and I'm definitely planning on doing it again because the Grizzlies have like a $12 ticket deal for certain games, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of that again in the future. The one thing though is just like, I feel like I'm doomed every single time I go to a game that it will get into overtime and then they'll lose. Like, on one hand, at least the game was good. If it got into overtime, like it was a close game and it was like a constant battle throughout. But on the other hand, I would really like to see a team I'm rooting for win while I'm in the building. Because currently it feels as if I'm cursed to watch them struggle. I also finished yesterday The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. And it was good. I really enjoyed it. I will say though that if I had rated it at 50% when I talked to you earlier, it would have been a 5-star, and it did sort of like at the end be downgraded into a 4-star, which is still really good and still a book I'd very much recommend. It just didn't hit quite the level of like, this is literally rotting my brain, I'm thinking about this all the time, that a 5-star book would have to. And part of that was that towards the end of the book, the male love interest kept saying things that were just like a little bit too long term for a relationship that had like really just begun. Like, it just kind of gave me the ick a little bit, like the way, like the strength of the love confessions for people who had been in a relationship for like 3 days and had otherwise only seen each other, at least from my understanding of the book, they'd only really seen each other at like book events like a couple times in like the 3 years that they've known each other. I was able to guess the perpetrator because he was the only person that really made sense and that wasn't like an obvious red herring. That didn't take away from my enjoyment of it. Like, I enjoyed the character and the story otherwise. So it was it wasn't like a negative to me that I could figure out the ending. Honestly, like, what matters to me most in a mystery book is that I like the characters and I like the storyline. Like, because if I don't like the characters and I don't like the story, I will literally just skip to the end and read the last chapter and then move on. Like, I won't finish that shit. Like, if I just want to know the ending but I don't care about anything else that's happening, I'll just skip to the end and figure out what the ending is. Like, I don't need to read 300 pages of things I don't care about just to get to the end. And that's me, and that's my personal choice. There were a couple things that I just wished had been elaborated on a little bit more. Like, I don't know, I wanted more of like the backstory with her ex-husband and like her ex-best friend. Like, I wanted like a little bit more, like, because there's this phone call where they find out that the ex-girlfriend or the ex-best friend, who's now like in a relationship with her ex-husband, is like pregnant and like calling her. And I wanted a little bit more like of a resolution as to like why after the end of this entire relationship she felt what possessed her to like call this person that she's obviously hurt by having an affair with her husband and like be like, oh my god, I'm having a baby, yada yada yada. And I will say I was a little bit disappointed that in the epilogue we didn't get like a rub it in their face moment. Like, I love a moment where the shitty ex gets like the fact that the person that they left is now with a better man and is also really hot, and I wanted that. I wanted a the grass isn't always greener type thing, but alas, that didn't happen. Okay, so it's all done. It's very long, so I can't really show you. I have a queen bed and this is kind of the best I could do. I'm gonna try and get a video for Instagram later tomorrow on my stairs, but this is it. I like the way it turned out. I think it's gonna be cute. Obviously the lighting in here is not ideal, but in the area of my house that it's going into, I think it'll really match. Okay, well, that's the end of this video. I have one finished project and then one project that's still in progress, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. Like, a blanket in a week, that's not a bad progression. But now all that's left is for me to wrap it, and then get moving on my other projects, finish those fucking trivets. But that will have to wait until part 2, so stay tuned for about 2 weeks time when I'll post that. I should have some fun videos coming out next weekend. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a stash tour, so subscribe if you're interested in seeing that. I would appreciate it if you left a comment to let me know what it is you enjoyed about this video. Please don't tell me what you didn't enjoy about it. I don't care to know. But that's it for today. That thing just my project bag just fell on my arm and like legitimately scared me. Okay, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a nice holiday season, and I wish you all the best on your own progression for your holiday grind. I will see you next weekend. Have a great day.